IFS-Informed EMDR, the application of a systemic understanding of ego states. IFS-Informed EMDR involves balancing target conditions between self-presence and part activation. This is a systemic variation of the concepts of dual attention co-consciousness, one foot in the present, one in the past, and Pat Ogden's window of tolerance between hyper and hypoarousal states. It also involves recognizing and working with, or diffusing, antagonistic ego states before trauma processing and attachment work with vulnerable traumatized states. Polarization between conflicting ego states blocks self-presence, and self-presence engages the adaptive information processing system. When balancing target conditions, the target part must be sufficiently activated along with self-presence. Self-presence can be cultivated through interweaves. Antagonistic parts must be identified and processed before trauma or attachment work with vulnerable, burdened parts. Antagonistic ego states are sometimes referred to as polarized parts in IFS. They are critical, rejecting, punitive, etc. And they're viewed as protectors, firefighters, or managers in IFS due to their presumed underlying positive intention. Assessing for self-presence is important throughout. Self is present if processing flows, if the client is not reacting to a target part, if the client is tolerating the vulnerability of a target part, if the client exhibits connection, understanding, compassion, etc. toward the target part. Self is present if positive cognitions begin to emerge spontaneously during processing. And you can check for self-presence by asking how the client feels toward the part. Interweaves to increase self-presence include asking a part to unblend, inviting curiosity or compassion, shifting the perspective of the client by agreeing that certain content belongs to a part, or expanding the client's perspective by identifying all parts in a field.